The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, a real question for you. How do you feel about paying for political parties to run and function year-round? It's an idea that's being thrown around by former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who is speaking on campaign finance reform. I have a lot to say about that tonight. Also, Education Minister Gladys Anna Martin bringing attention to the housing crisis. It's an issue that's gripped the nation's attention recently. For example, a studio apartment anywhere on this island, or just about anywhere on this island, a studio apartment, one room, $1,800 a month. It really is a serious issue. Later tonight, the Small Business Development Center is here to talk about its new program, the Mastery Academy. And are you looking to experience calligraphy and sip wine at the same time? Well, the China-Bahamas Association has a unique event coming up for you. I'll tell you more about that as well. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's good to have you along this evening. Well, the Bahamas has long talked about campaign finance reform, the need for it to bring about greater transparency about how political organizations are funded during campaign seasons and even elections, and also to stop or limit the special interest groups who have great influence in governance based on their donations, of course. Now, before his contribution in Parliament last evening, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis spoke with the media and suggested that you, the Bahamian people, pay for the upkeep of the political organizations, not just during the election season, but year-round. He threw out as an example $250,000, just as an example, for each political party that meet a certain criteria. And so, the question I want to start tonight, how are we going to achieve this? What is the amount from each Bahamian? Will it come by way of salary deduction? So let's look at this, you all. Before I bring the Hot Topics panel in, let's look at this and see how this all works out, right? You all remember that recent study by the University of the Bahamas that says you need, the average person, or perhaps every Bahamian family, needs an average, at the very bare minimum, of about $10,000 a month just to live comfortably. Remember that? You remember that study? And then let's talk about salary deductions. We know many Bahamians find themselves already tapped out because they have a little loan here, a little loan there, a bigger loan there, this loan, that loan, vacation loan, or just loans. So they are taking home, some people, not even $100. This is the reality in this nation. I'm not excusing it because it shows poor management of our finances, something that I address on a monthly basis now on the show with an expert an individual in finance. And then, of course, we are talking about whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. How are we all going to do this? Well, I'm going to bring in the Hot Topics panel. And we're going to talk about this because it's a real question. People have been calling for it, but do we truly understand what it means? And is the Bahamas at the place where we can actually fund political organizations who meet a certain criteria, who gain a certain amount, a percentage of the votes and support? Those are the parties that will qualify. Well, welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Michael Turnquest and Ellington Ferguson, Beyond the Headlines contributors. Good evening to both of you and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Certainly, once again, it's a pleasure to be here to lend my voice to the contribution.
Good evening, Bahamas. Good evening, Shanique. Pleasure to be back.
It's good to have you guys here. Gentlemen, first of all, let's just jump right in. I don't know, Joe Public should fund political parties. Your thoughts on that?
You know, Shanique, I think it's at a point, Dr. Menace, I think he's having, we're in the silly season and he's having fun with with this time. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, when you talk about salary deductions in terms of whether it be going towards political parties or what the criteria might be in terms of, what would you need to meet in order to get whatever this amount of money is that might be put aside to go towards political parties. But, it's, to me, it's just like, we see, and, I go back to we see churches everywhere, around the Bahamas because, of course, it's tax-free things, and people, they take advantage in terms of, it becomes a job for them. You would then now see, I think now we have 3 political parties, or 2 major political parties, and one that wants to be a major party in the political arena. We'll now see 8, 9, people just basically forming parties.
Now, Michael, you read my thoughts earlier, because I said, well, my Lord, I too may be tempted to form a political organization, because after all, if you are going to fund my organization, why not?
Exactly, and people give their chairman, now people, rather than being leader, chairman, everybody getting salaries, things of that sort, and they make a living out of it. Not worried about being elected or not, but at the end of the day, once I meet the criteria, whatever it might be, whether it be putting one person in the House, like I said, it's all up in the air.
Or maybe if it's 10% of the votes, for example, because you just have to perform at a certain level during an election season to qualify.
Yeah, and then you look at it, then you speak about what do we do in the event that, at the end we have the F&M PLP, and those which are the 2 major ones. At the end there, when you talk about persons putting in, whether it be salary deduction, I think the China Republic, I forget what the political party in China, but I think everybody makes a certain percentage of their, whether it be $1 or whatever goes, and what makes them a card-carrying member of that party, which makes up the People's Republic of China. I think it's a party, Bahamians, we don't demand now, but imagine saying that, hey, we're going to take $1 out of it. People will get up, we'll see now more people getting out and being in outrage. I give my money to this party. And
that is why they do it in the United States. Now, of course, that is a different system. It operates differently. But a part of it, on this, there's the federal, there's the state, there's the city. There are so many different levels. And and their tax structure is different. And so, some of it goes to funding elections at all those varying levels. But as you can see, they go out there and make demands. Because, Michael, as you said, their money go to electing these people and supporting them.
Yeah. Absolutely, Shanique. And one of the things I think Dr. Menace is really fanning the flames of this age-old discussion that we've been talking about. And it's a discussion that has become a main play for opposition. Every time a particular party or a party is in opposition,
you're so right,
and the funds are low, then this discussion arises again. I think there is a discussion that needs to be had as it relates to transparency. We need to know sometime who's funding some of these political parties. We need to know where these funds are coming from. Then you kind of be able to understand why some things happen in government. Yes, we need to have some transparency. We need to have our campaign finance reform. I think it's a discussion that needs to begin so that we can begin. It's not something that's going to happen this election cycle, or probably not even the next election cycle, but I think it is a discussion that we need to begin to have as we continue to grow and develop as a democracy.
To me, the reality is the special interests don't want to be known.
Exactly.
These are the guys that throw about the big money. These are the guys that some of them, they've been around in the Bahamian society for decades. I mean, from the life of from independence, even before. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be known. They will never be known. And if at the end of the day, if we really think about it, any political party will continue to kick this can down the road, because at the end of the day, they're told at every special interest meeting, please, let's leave it alone.
And they don't, you're right, they don't want to be known. Special interests all around the world. This ain't just something that's synonymous with the Bahamas. Around the world, when it comes to election seasons, in whichever country it is, they have their role to play, and they don't want to be known, and they fund whichever campaign it is, or both.
And
or
it's up to us.
As many.
It's up to us to connect the dots. So as you see people lobbying for certain things, you can connect the dots, and you know exactly who is who. The dots will always lead back to, who the special interests are.
And then we also need to know that there is no funding coming from no outside sources or government. And that is something that really needs to come into play when you talk about campaign finance reform.
But we're not talking about that, though. We're talking about truly, Do you? Let's just be real about it. Your dollar now. Let's break it down, y'all. You're a little intelligent here tonight.
Shanique,
let us speak the language of the average Bahamian who have had enough.
Bahamians would definitely say no.
Inflation.
Definitely.
We will get now to the housing crisis in a moment that is driven by the rent. You understand me? A little box with a bed on one end, the little cook stove on one end, the bathroom. That's the only thing that's separate is the little bathroom right through the little door and big as this. They are paying a minimum, an average of $1,800 a month. That's not an apartment, okay? It's not an apartment. And you are saying now that they must fund what?
No, party.
What about you, wealthy person?
Other than party
is it
faithful?
going to be based on maybe salary and what the amount is? What is that? Who's willing for that at this moment?
Bahamians are not ready for that.
So here's what I say to Dr. Minnis. Justin, go ahead. Get out of here. That's it. Dr. Minnis, that idea, and you right now, get out of here. We ain't trying to hear it. Yes, campaign finance reform is something, but as Ellington said, we always have the most brilliant ideas, or not, in opposition. But when Doc, you just left there 2 minutes ago. Why you didn't bring up? I didn't have this idea and introduce it. That's it, right there. That's it, Justin. I like it. Loop it, Justin. Loop it, because Dr. Minnis, what you ain't gonna do is further tax these Bahamian people who are trying to make their way and see their way clear. You ain't gonna do that.
You know, they say sometimes Dr. Minnis gets his words mixed up.
No, he does, because I understand. Well, he did try to spell. Now, I'll tell you this. You all ain't gonna talk. Doc, further, let me tell you something. You ahead. You winning, you know. You really winning. Don't lose points right now. Talking about
one plus one is two. Two plus.
What do you say?
You know, Doc has had many
He's at his moments. He's at his moments. But I can tell you what he did yesterday. While saying that little foolishness right there, but funding political parties. He did say this though. He said, "I will WILL win WIN." You got every word right there. I'm spelling that. You got every word, every single word. Michael, you have no reason.
I endorse that.
You have no reason. You made a spelling, eh? It's spelling what you endorse.
No, he will win.
Well, yes. We But
you know which area running? Because I understand my cut is.
Doc say you could
Yeah.
slice it, dice it, spin it, box it. Doc say however you do in Kalani.
You can't move the people and you can't move the land.
He said he will win. That's absolutely. Now listen, you are ahead with that. But when you come and talk in little foolishness and gibberish and some other language, but having the Bahamian people fund y'all who don't do nothing in these political offices to begin with.
He should fund couple.
He should fund it, yes, exactly. Doc, you step up first, then we'll follow. How about that? You step up, then we'll follow.
$1 million to each party.
That's all. How about that? Just let us see why you were a good dog. Let us see that. Let's see that. So listen, gentlemen, I really want to move this forward because this matter, we alluded to it a moment ago when we talked about inflation and the cost of living, in particular, what's happened to real estate. We saw yesterday, which is amazing, Prime Minister Davis did talk about that land, and I forgot the full name of the bill, but it's a land reform bill that people have been looking for and waiting for. It's been many, many decades. I mean, before independence even, this has been going on where people could go and actually just thief your land. It's a Bahamian word, okay? Steal your land based on the fact that they have set up shop on it now for decades. You didn't know. Sometimes you have no idea. You then go to try and make use of your land or do it, and the land no longer belongs to you. So that's being addressed. But what also came out in that debate last evening was Housing Minister repeating what we all know already. Michael, you and I had the discussion just before airtime. The cost of living as it relates to housing, and the fact that so many people, so many Bahamians are now being squeezed out of their homes or apartments because they cannot afford the rent, they can't housing, they can't even access the cost of what land is to be able to go and build a house or purchase a home. So that's different. But let's just talk, guys, about what the Minister of Education touched on is what's turned into the real crisis in the country, housing.
You know, Shanique, we've said over and over, there's nothing called low-cost homes anymore. The cost of buying anything in the Bahamas as it relates to real estate is basically far-fetched out of reach of majority of the Bahamians' hands. And the banks don't make it easy in terms of, going in and getting the financing, whatever for it. So at the end of the day, inflation is, even if you were to give 80% or 70% of Bahamians, give them land, they still can't afford to buy the blocks, which are blocks are $2 and some cents a block now, and put a foundation on. I mean, it'll take most Bahamians years just to get the foundation out the ground.
That's it.
So at the end of the day, we have to look at how do we. It has to be some other creative way. Whereas though, we build and we build. I guess we call them now projects in the U.S. But you see a lot of low cost, I guess, condominiums or apartment complexes, and then we kind of either give a rent to own or something like that back to Bahamians. But at the end of the day, there's nothing so-called low-cost homes in the Bahamas.
There isn't, and because I saw earlier today, and this has nothing to do with this, but just to let you know about how you said there is no such thing as low-cost home anymore. I saw a video from the proposed bridge in North Eleuthera. And I imagine he must be the lead engineer or something, or someone who is really overseeing that project. And he said that obviously to even build on the Family Island, so think about this, that it's even higher. And the last time something of that scale was attempted was the Weston Bridge. And since then, things have increased. So you're right, Michael. Right now, to go and try and purchase anything to do with a construction project, it is no longer what it was even 10 years ago. And so I'll tell you this, I remember recently I did have the Minister of Housing on, and I hope he can come on again very soon, because he is the one that the people really want to hear from, because he alluded to rent-to-own properties and Bahamians being able to realize their piece of the Bahamian dream that way. He alluded to, as you said, access now to housing and all the rest of it, not only here in New Providence, but Grand Bahama, and quite a number of family islands have been identified as well. It is so necessary because, as you said, everything has been now so placed out of the reach of the average Bahamian, including rent.
Shanique, there's a ton of generational land throughout the family islands. I mean, there's a lot of creative things that persons can come up with, whether it be taking back some of that land, building homes, and basically allowing persons of that particular family to move back to those family islands, own a piece of the land. But at the end of the day, it still needs infrastructure and things of that sort, whereas though people can actually go and be employed and work at the same time, pay back whatever the amount is that's agreed. But at the end of the day, a lot of things are just still far-fetched, and there's a lot of work to be done. But I think there's a lot of opportunity to basically do some stuff in the family islands where we can try and develop, put the infrastructure that's needed, and allow Bahamians to go back where they can afford, to own a piece of the, or like you said, a rent-to-own scheme, things of that sort. But I don't know
if the term is repopulation, but something. Ellington, you've been so quiet. I'll give you an opportunity. Justin sent us to a break right now, but I'll give you an opportunity to give a comment on this.
I think it's interesting that Minister Hannah Martin mentioned this. In the words of East Grand Bahama Member of Parliament, he talked about, he praised this bill essentially, but the fact is we pass these things, do we give any urgency to them? I think this is a matter that needs to be looked at. Rent, it becomes easier today for Bahamian to pay mortgage. These people who are paying rent, who are struggling to pay rent, it's easier to pay mortgage than it is to pay rent in this country. I think, and you mentioned about Minister Keith Bell about the rent to own, I think we need to do something even more beyond that. Because if you're renting to own, I think essentially Bahamian need to understand, Bahamian need to be given an opportunity to own a piece of this rock. If we can put people in these houses, we're building these houses, but then Bahamian is still not able to get into them because of all of the encumbersome of trying to come up with this and come up with this. I think if you say initially,
I think it's only 10. Okay, I hate to say only 10,000, right? But how much lower do you want?
That's a lot for a person to come up with at one shot.
It is. But
Shanique, if you attach that down payment, I'm not talking about free lunch. If you're going to charge me a mortgage of $10 and my down payment is $8,
if we give it free, how is it supposed to be replenished?
Attach portions of that down payment onto my mortgage, and I'll pay that for the first 5 years until I cover that. And you're putting people in the house. It's not about giving anything free, but make it accessible to Bahamian.
I think you still need to look at the central bank study in terms of what the average Bahamian has actually in the bank and who's living paycheck to paycheck, whereas the majority of the people, 80% of the people that have bank accounts might have $5, if that. So.
Well, I'll tell you this. That's why each month on the show, I started at the beginning of the year, actually once a week. I've taken it now to once a month. And I'm talking about financial literacy. You all tune in for that. Don't miss those sessions. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4 get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back to school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back to school special. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, throughout this year, just 2025 alone, the Small Business Development Center has been busy launching program after program to help and pinpoint, highlight, and assist by giving a hands up really to small businesses and small business owners to equip them with the necessary skills to be successful today and to operate. They have done this through a number of innovative programs that have been launched almost on a monthly basis, if not certainly every other month. And it really is impactful, not just here in New Providence either. They're doing this on several family islands. I've spoken to people who have participated in a number of trainings and also participated in a number of the launches that have been done so far for the year. And I'll tell you, they are not only amazed, but they find themselves, according to the feedback I've gotten from people I've spoken to, just better able, number one, to understand business, to understand where their business perhaps need a nudge and a push, and how they can better do that. And this evening, the Small Business Development Center is here. I have Blair Evans. She is the Innovations Manager. She is here to talk about what is now the Mastery Academy. That's right. This is the new launch, the new rollout. And of course, we have Anwar McCartney. He is the owner of Quantum Managing and in fact, the director there at that company. And to talk about how he is already embraced and his company and obviously being impacted by it. And so welcome to Beyond the Headlines, both of you. It's good to have you both here. Let's jump right in. Let's talk about this Mastery Academy. What is it? And then how is it assisting small businesses?
Yes, thank you for that, Shanique. So Mastery Academy, like you said, this is one of our newest programs. So this is aimed to be a quarterly training series. And what's different about Mastery Academy is that this is aimed at our more small and medium-sized businesses, right? So our training programs that you are aware of, they're online and they're typically going over the basics of entrepreneurial training. So getting people that baseline understanding and knowledge. And that's really good for those micro businesses who are, new to business or have been operating more casually and don't really have that specific business training or education, right? So with Mastery Academy, we're trying to target those more seasoned entrepreneurs who are looking for a little bit more depth. They want to be able to speak about practical challenges and issues in scaling their business up and increasing their operations. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, really awesome. I'll get you in a moment, Anwar, but I wanna ask Blair just how is fiscal. I know what this Mastery Academy really is focused in on as a part of the overall strategy in the academy is fiscal fitness.
Yes.
How, number one, why is that important to small and medium-sized businesses, and what is it?
Yes, so we wanted to start out with our first session being on fiscal fitness. So each Mastery Academy session is actually going to focus on a different topic. But of course, at the SBDC, access to funding is, a key area that persons are looking to us for. We don't want to just provide access to funding. We want to be able to empower persons to manage that funding once they can get it. And identify, are they in the right space to be ready for funding, whether that's equity or loan funding, right? And so that's what we really want to focus on in this first session on fiscal fitness. So really looking deeper into financial management concepts. So a little bit more than just your basic revenue and expenses, but thinking about sustainability of your business, debt financing, like I said, and how to really manage that moving forward.
Anwar, you were here, and I'll tell you, I love when Small Business Development Center stops by because they do bring a business owner among many nationwide who are a part of, say, for example, just this rollout, meaning the Mastery Academy. Let's talk about how your business has been impacted. What is it that you're learning, that you're doing differently, that you're even perhaps seeing differently?
Okay, well, first of all, my business is not actually a customer or client of the SBDC. I came in about 3 years ago as a consulting accountant, right? So what the SBDC does outside of the Mastery Academy is it's essentially a funding loop where it assists small, medium-sized businesses, I guess large too if there's a need for it, to liaise with accountants, business plan writers, and other professionals to beef up their business plans or create business plans with accompanying financial statements, which is where my company comes in, and then go through the actual review process to hopefully get funding for their businesses. And in terms of the impact that it's had on me, again, not being a client, but just being a part of the process, it's helped me to learn, right? It's helped me to actually learn about, some of the things that banks require, some of the different ways to look at businesses, locally. The business environment in the Bahamas is challenging, but it's something that can be conquered, right? We talk about fiscal management, but it's also, just real world issues in terms of cost of living, right? Access to financing, access to a steady and qualified work pool. And so there's all of that kind of ties into one here.
Yeah. Now, how is this different? Normally, all the other rollouts throughout this year have been more beginner, laying a foundation type sort of thing to get people started, interested, knowing that, hey, the SBDC is here to hold your hand, equip you, help you move along. How is the Mastery Academy different?
Yes, so like I would have mentioned, most of our current training, we have the Business Blueprint training course, which many persons are familiar with, and that's attached to each program that we launch. And that's an online training course, and it focuses on 10 key concepts of entrepreneurship. Right? So with this, we want to focus on one topic at a time. And these topics are based on discussions we've had with clients, like Anwar would have said, especially those who are going through our process of getting guaranteed loan funding. There are some different challenges that you have at that level when you're looking to scale up. Perhaps you're looking to open a second location. So there are different considerations that business owners at those levels have. And so that's what this series is really focused on. And that's where Anwar is coming in facilitating our first session on fiscal fitness.
Anwar, what do you hope to tell? Because you're right, starting a business, Jesus, we know that road in the Bahamas. We know what it is to qualify for many things and to get the attention. And once you're in the door, you're good. But to get there. And so what advice, though, are you even going to be sharing and expertise with those who are enrolled in the Mastery Academy?
Well, one of the first things that I think I want to achieve is to give business owners the understanding that to develop or improve your fiscal fitness or your financial fitness, it's not rocket science, right? It's a lot of it is basic. I am an accountant, so it helps in my training that I have that. But you don't need to be an accountant, CPA, CFA, or whatever other three-letter words you have to manage funds on a day-to-day basis. Every adult has to manage their personal funds. A business is very similar in terms of managing the day-to-day. So some of the things that we want to focus on is cash flow management, right? Cash in, cash out. Very similar to profit and loss, but there are some different considerations when it comes to that. So we want to help businesses understand how that works. I also try to tell my clients this from day one. And whenever I have a client, whether through the SBDC or through other means, you should always treat your business in terms of your accounting or your record keeping as though you will eventually go for financing to a bank or to some other financial institution or to even an equity investor, right? That involves keeping proper records, having your debits and your credits in line. We won't get too academic today. But I think also too, businesses need to understand what they're worth. So at every stage of your business life, you need to have an idea of what financially is your business worth, not what it means to you sentimentally. That's important, but at the end of the day, money talks, right? So I think one of the things that there was a talk about this a few weeks ago in the public discourse where inner city businesses are no longer quote unquote Bahamian owned. I think a lot of that, you look at the past 20, 30 years is because a lot of business owners, mom and pop shops operated convenience stores as an example over the hill, send their kids off to school, kids come back, don't want to work in a convenience store, and so they sell for whatever they can get a lot of times. And I think that's because we didn't have a format for businesses to say, I'm actually worth this amount of money. And I think we could try to change that in our culture.
Good, so it's really having a knowledge of where you are, what that means, and then also to have that as leverage for you to go and move forward, as you said, in preparation to going. Because you more than likely would need to.
Absolutely.
Or certain just to keep that as an option to a financial institution.
Absolutely.
Very, very good. So what are the common financial mistakes, though, that businesses or business owners make?
I would say number one is a fear of or a lack of regard for paper trail, right? We have a very informal business culture in the Bahamas. We have a very cash-centric culture in the Bahamas, right? People are still fighting this day to be able to use their credit cards or debit cards. My grandmother, I used to live with her for many years when I was younger, and she would insist. She didn't want an ATM card. She wanted to go into the bank with her bank card and actually sign off on. She would draw $500, deposit $100, And
No,
that
they
was
need to see that. You know, what was
Yeah.
that called? Like that.
the
that,
bank book.
The little bank book, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the bank book.
yeah.
Oh, like
It was another word
the
for it.
receipt or something.
Yeah,
Whatever that is.
Right,
They need to see
right.
that.
You know,
Yes.
and she held on to that till our last day, right? But I think that, you know, it translates as well. But one of the mistakes that I see when people go in for funding is when they say, okay, first thing I want to see is I want to see your bank information, bank details for 2-3 years. Lots of times there's little to none. And COVID being a unique situation where a lot of people couldn't get around, especially on the out islands, on outside in the province, China-Bahamas, you know, banks are not necessarily within reach. And so I always encourage people to try to minimize cash transactions as much as possible. It's not going to be fully achievable for most people, especially retail, but try to encourage credit card, debit card transactions. Try to encourage, people still take checks, you know, if you trust people, take the checks, and also wire transfers, right? And we have bank-to-bank transfers that are automatic.
Yeah.
That's perfect, right? And so those are that's the main thing that I see that causes businesses to stumble when they need to get financing or when they just need to understand where they're at. That's the first thing I say.
Now, you both can answer this. What habits, and I guess we could even individualize this, but what business habits separate those who go on to be amazing success and have great success stories versus those who man, I had a business, you know, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leah, you want me to take that one first?
Go ahead.
I would say accountability, personal accountability, right? What does that mean? You know, treating a business as firstly serious, as a separate entity from yourself, right? Understanding that you need a business bank account. You, where possible, try to get the legal work done. It's expensive to incorporate a company, I understand that. But, you know, taking those steps to actually structure it and frame it properly. Market research, before, especially if you're going to buy and sell, right? I think one of the first things that you need to do is understand, is the business that I'm contemplating in my mind, is this a valid or a viable business in the Bahamas, right? Understanding where you're at in the Bahamas, right? You know, one of the other things I would say is paying yourself a salary. That is that is extremely important because I'll tell you a story quickly. There was an associate of mine who asked me about, you know, coming in on a business idea one time ago, and I'd asked you know, what do you pay yourself? Oh, I don't really pay myself a salary. And I would say, if you could guess, how much do you think you'd pay yourself on an annual basis if you, in terms of, you know, in kind? Maybe $30,000. It was like 6 times that, right? When you don't pay yourself a salary, you just withdraw from the business as a personal piggy bank type of thing.
Yes,
right?
you're right, as a
Right?
piggy bank.
Absolutely.
And you just take the, hey, well, I'll put it back.
Yeah, and people think that doing things with business funds that are not going into your pocket is not payroll, but paying school fees is payroll, paying your light bill, water bill is payroll, going shopping and taking out money for your vacation is payroll. So you'd be surprised. You know, it's almost like a credit card, right, that you don't check. So I think accountability, personal accountability is number one in that whole recipe.
It's really, really, that's good. You want to jump in, Blair?
Yeah, so I was going to say some of those same habits, but I think in taking some of those pieces, this is what we're trying to also build into the support that we're giving to our entrepreneurs. So business bank accounts, that's something we push. That's something that's actually a requirement for our Tingsy e-commerce platform. Giving persons an actual method to where they can accept debit and credit card payments like Anwar mentioned. So you don't just have to rely on that cash method. So we're really taking those things into account and really trying to upscale our entrepreneurs to be able to operate in today's economy.
And that's exactly what they're doing. Of course, this Mastery Academy also includes sessions that provide digital accounting templates and a whole lot more. The SBDC really helping you succeed, even sort of like fine-tune your niche and help you make that idea a very successful and appealing business at the same time, as well as profitable. That's important. That's really the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. A profitable business idea. I thank you both very, very much. Thank you very much, SBDC, for coming in and sharing yet another of your year-long rollouts, really, that's benefiting so many people. I'm telling you, I just had this discussion with someone last week who participated in the last one, and so I take pleasure in sharing, continuing to share the information with everybody else. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you too.
When we come back, are you ready for some calligraphy? That's that beautiful handwriting, really, really nice, and then sip and maybe paint a bit. Yeah, the China-Bahamas Association is here talking about an upcoming event. It's all after the break.
As we continue to develop the orange economy of the Bahamas and empower our artists and artisans, we as a government intend to show tangible support. We are therefore requesting our Bahamian artists and artisans to submit images of their handmade, authentically made Bahamian products and prices as we move to produce a live digital booklet with Bahamian-made works. With the creation of a live booklet, artisans can always submit new works to be included. It is our intent to use this book as a catalog for the purchase of items by all senior government officials for gifts, display items, and the like. Ministers, permanent secretaries, members of parliament, and ambassadors will be supporting our orange economy by the purchase of items and in sharing this book to the wider global creative community. We are committed to grow and expand the orange economy of the Bahamas.
Win a brand new 2026 GAC MPOW every week for 5 weeks. Every 10 reward points earns you 1 digital entry. The more entries you gain, the better your chances to win. 5 weeks, 5 cars. Will you be one of our lucky winners? Catch the keys today, only at Island Luck. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so game responsibly.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you join us. We're going to shift gears now. We're going to talk China-Bahamas relations. And so the Bahamas-China Friendship Association has been hugely busy. You all have seen it. Over the last several years, they've been taking groups to China on expedition trips, on cultural exchanges, and so much has been happening. And Bahamians have also had an opportunity to explore other opportunities. Also, they've been hosting a number of events locally just to continue to forge that relationship and strengthen the relationship. And they are going to do another event at the end of this month on Thursday, the 31st of July. Now, let me tell you what this event is. It's a calligraphy, that's really wonderful, beautiful handwriting, and wine tasting. Also, what's going to be happening there is when you attend, you're going to be able to learn to write and speak your favorite Bahamian language and sayings and all the stuff that we say, just some of the stuff that people be like, what? Yeah, you're going to learn to say those things in Mandarin. And so it's going to be a wonderful event. I'm not going to say much more. I will let Donovan and, of course, my other guest, Valencia, tell us more. And so welcome to Beyond the Headlines, the president of the Bahamas China Friendship Association, Donovan Moxie, and also Valencia Larota. Now, Valencia has studied in China. She is well-versed in Mandarin. And so, Valencia, I'll let you go first by saying good evening, and Shanique, it's good to be here. How about that?
Okay, I'll say that for you. So, 大家好，我叫 Sia， 大家好你们，大家好 Bahama， 可以吗？
Very good, very good. But in fact, she'll be leading the way with that whole teaching you how to say stuff, and even maybe stuff that maybe you shouldn't be saying, you know. Valencia, if somebody come to you and say, I just need to curse somebody in Mandarin, you will tell them, okay, then yes, Now, Donovan, you've been president for quite a number of years, but you have really put energy and a face to this relationship, to this whole sort of Bahamas-China experience and the exchanges that have been happening, including trips and everything, like I said, but hosting regular events here in the Bahamas. Do tell us about this event that you have planned for the 31st.
Yes, good evening, Shanique. Good evening to Bahamas, and we're certainly happy to be here. So yeah, the calligraphy and wine tasting event is our signature event, but we have quite a number of things that are going on with the association. As many persons would know, the association has been around for over 20 years. We were starting in 2004, and a part of our mandate was really building cultural exchange, economic opportunities, and education opportunities between the peoples of the Bahamas and the peoples of China. And so to that effect, we essentially have that calligraphy and wine tasting event, which I'll talk to you a little bit more later. But we have other events that I want to basically highlight. The first is a video blogging or the video logging event. So I've been to China 3 times. Larota, obviously, Valencia studied in China. And a lot of Bahamians, when you go to China, you're amazed by it. So we have a contest called our video logging events contest. Is if you go to China and you capture video, you can create a 1 to 5 minute video presentation and tell Bahamians and narrate what it is for you to experience China. So anybody who's visited China, if you have video clips, you put it together and you post it on our social media pages, we will share it with the Bahamas. This particular contest has a prize money associated with it. So for the adults who participate, the prize money is $800 for the first prize, $500 in cash for the second, and $300 for the third. If you're a young student between the ages of 14 and 18, and then the prize money is pretty much the same, $800 for first, $500 for second, and $300 for third. This particular contest closes on November the 15th. So that's a great opportunity. If you're in China, you travel to China to really share your experiences with Bahamians. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second opportunity.
I know some people who went recently. I need to tell them to send you.
Yes, they definitely need to get their video together. The second opportunity is our trade mission to China. We did a trade mission last year to Yiwu, which is the largest commodities market in the world. Over 2 million products, over 75,000 vendors. And so our trade mission to Yiwu is September 19th to September 29th of this year. All of the information is available on our website. And so if you want to go, you're a small business owner, you want to think about starting a business, forming those relationships directly with Chinese vendors, it's time to go with us to our trade mission. And so you can go to our website, bcfa242.org, and you can go ahead and sign up to become a part of that trade mission. So that's the second thing. The third thing, as would have said earlier by Shanique, is really our calligraphy and wine tasting event. This is the third year that we're doing it. It's very exciting for people who attend. And again, it's one of those things that connects the cultural aspects of Bahamian language or idiomatic phrases with the Chinese language. And so what we do there is we have created quite a number of calligraphy drawings with Bahamian phrases that have been translated to Mandarin. And so you come to the event, you have the ability to pick the phrase that you like, do the calligraphy for that phrase, and then learn how to speak that phrase. We also have on board our wine sponsor, which is Commonwealth Brewery. So Commonwealth Brewery is going to bring in a selection of their new wines. You get to taste any amount of wine that you wish. We have food, we have cheese, we have fruit, and we have the ability for you to enjoy those wines, those delicious wines.
Any Chinese treats on the table?
Yes, we'll have Chinese treats on the table. We'll have door prizes, and so you can come in and bring your friend. Bring your friends rather. It's a nice corporate team building event. But obviously, the highlight of the event is always we have the Bahamians that come in. They find their phrases. We have about 50 or 60 different Bahamian phrases. You pick the phrase that you like most. You then have the ability to do the calligraphy. Well, it's probably something like "Dog eat your lunch." People like to do that. That's the most popular one? Dog eat your lunch.
Dang.
Or it's some of the things that a lot of people like to do as well.
I'm sure. Valencia, what is dog eat your lunch?
Dog eat your lunch is... Oh, sorry.
When she thinks of no, think about that because I won't hear it. I won't hear dog eat your lunch. So that's a Bahamian saying, really? Dog eat your lunch?
Yeah.
Dog eat your lunch, boy.
Shanique, you've never heard that?
No, because I know, but not so frequent. Because when I hear that, I thought of roach on your bread.
Well, it's similar to that.
Okay.
But it's a different context.
Yes.
I'll just say that way. It's a different context.
Dog eat your lunch meaning like, boy, you in for it.
Yeah, you can lose.
Okay. Yeah. Like if you're playing a game, but dog eat your lunch.
Yeah.
You or
the dog come and take the lunch away from you because you ain't paying attention.
Because roach on your bread.
There you go. But that's I won't get into the context.
Roach on your bread. Listen to me. Let me tell you.
That's one of the one of the phrases. I mean, there's quite a number of that we have there as well.
This is really. I'll tell you. Valencia. Talk about just your experience because like I said, I have some friends who just returned. In fact, I think it was Monday. So when I say I mean just. And they were blown away by the opportunities. Donovan mentioned businesses and the fact that many people go there and start businesses because of the ideas they're exposed to. And China, we know China is so far ahead oftentimes with its inventions and all the rest of it. Just talk about you studying there. How long did you study and what did you major in?
Okay, well, I studied back in 2018. I started with my first year was language, and then I went into my major, which was chemical engineering. So I studied in Beijing at China University of Petroleum. My experience there was lovely. I had a wonderful time. The culture, the food, the meeting the people, and
by the way, we all have this like debate on this part of the world. Mind you, I visited Japan really. Several years ago. I wonder if does that count for me to put it to enter this competition because I could find a picture, I think. But I visited Japan, Hong Kong. I visited Hong Kong, and then I visited China for a day. However, I didn't eat. I didn't have time for all that. Didn't even look at a restaurant. None of it. Wasn't interested, right? But is the food really different there than what we call Chinese food here?
Very different, very, very different. At first, I had to even get used to it.
Because I know you were like, well, where the kingdom ribs?
No kingdom ribs, nothing. No kingdom ribs, no sweet and sour chicken.
Where's sweet and sour chicken?
But once you find good food there, you're going to enjoy it, which is why I got so comfortable and lived there comfortably for 5 years. So.
Very good. So now, did you think of dog eat your lunch, or you want me to ask you something else?
Something else.
Okay, sure. Okay. Soon directly. Listen, I haven't heard that one. When I saw this just now, you think you could come up with a soon directly?
Soon directly, I think is Haojin.
You better be ready for July 31st. You better be ready. But Donovan, talk about just how enriching this is and what it is that the Bahamas China Friendship Association does. Right. That exactly. So many people. I tell you, my friends came back super excited because they were blown away by just the opportunities that exist in China. And really at such great affordability that they now have come back with several ideas running at once.
Yeah, the thing is, China, you have to really understand China. You have to go there. Because you hear a lot of stories about what China is like, what China isn't. So when you go there, first of all, you were talking about the food. My very first time in China in 2018, I was there for about 2 weeks. And I kid you not, I ate so much food, I put on 20 pounds. 20 pounds
in 2 weeks. How you could go to China and put on weight?
It was amazing to me. It was.
And in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, I put on 20 pounds. In fact, I had to go and get a new pair of pants because the pants that I had didn't fit me.
Well, I'm sure you found it quite affordable. The food is delicious,
very affordable.
And good quality.
Actually, custom-made pants that I had done for me because, again, I was a little bit off size in those weeks. But the food is delicious. The people are great. And like I said before, the Bahamas China Friendship Association was set up in order to forge those cultural, economic, and educational ties between the Bahamas and China. And so what I would say to anybody, when you look at new technologies being developed, all of the consumer products, maybe 90% of the consumer products that we see on the shelves in Walmart, on Amazon,
That's
or
right.
even here
That's
locally,
right. Yes.
are made in China. They're sourced in China. And so if you're somebody looking for building supplies, you're a contractor. In fact, on our trade mission, there's a building supply marketplace that we'll be going to as well. And so all of those goods are there, all of those products are there, and they're available for you. The other thing too, which was really amazing to me, is the welcoming nature of the Chinese people. Obviously, we're from the Bahamas, we look different, we show up in China, and the very first time I felt like a celebrity. People want to meet you, they want to take photographs with you, they want to touch your hair, they want to rub on your hand. I mean, all of those things you run into, you think it's strange, first of all, but then you realize that for some of these persons, this is the very first time they've seen a person in real life that looks like me. They just see it on television or see it in the newspaper. And so the friendliness, the openness is extremely, extremely inviting. And so I would say to anybody who's interested in really being curious about what China's about, but also looking at economic opportunities, consider China. Come on our trip, share your stories with other Bahamians.
And you are open to anybody joining on the expeditions, huh?
Anybody. It's on our website, bcfa242.org. We encourage you.
Speak a little slower,
In fact,
Donovan, you speak very fast.
I speak very quickly. So all of the information we're talking about here is actually on our website. And it's www.bcfa, which is for Bahamas China Friendship Association, of course, 242.org. So everything about our video logging competition, our trade mission, as well as our calligraphy event is all on the website. In fact, last night we had an info session for our trade mission, and over 30 prospective people were on that call.
They're going to be
and so those are people who are going to make the call. So again,
is there going to be another call leading up to the
Yes.
The
in fact,
what
you want to do is just go on our website. You'll see everything there. It's fully electronic, so you can even book your spot, stick your registration electronically. And again, for us, we're embracing technology as well. And so everything is available for you. The event, the tickets are on sale on our website. And the tickets are $100 through ticketboxevents.com or our BCFA website. And so you can go ahead and make purchase of your tickets as well. And we'll be there in person. We can talk to you a little bit more about the trip, about the association, and answer all of the questions that you have while we're, of course, sipping wine and doing calligraphy.
Super, right? What is the greatest success story? Like, what makes this just something that you have to continue and love to do each year and throughout the year? What is the greatest success story you have seen by somebody who's done the trade mission and had their mind stirred and their imagination stirred, and now they came back and just did amazing
I can
things?
tell you what, last year, a young lady who's now our vice president, her and her husband went, and they have just all kinds of business ideas that are bubbling. So that's pretty exciting for us as well. And so you have a number of young Bahamian stores that actually started sourcing out of Iwu, and so they built very, very large businesses. Some of the stores I won't mention that you won't even think of are actually sourcing products out of Iwu right now today. And so we encourage you to take a look at what we have to offer at the China Friendship Association, build those relationships, and when you have the opportunity, take a trip to China.
Thank you so much, Donovan Moxie, president of the Bahamas China Friendship Association, also Valencia Larota, who studied and lived in China for several years. Thank you very much. She will be there, by the way, on the 31st of July as a part of the whole calligraphy wine tasting event. And so again, that happens where, Donovan?
At the Margaritaville Hotel and Resort at 6:30 p.m. on July 31st. Come out. We've had great showings in the last 2 years, and so we want you to come out and have fun with us.
I thank you both for being here. Sounds like an amazing event, as always. Thank you very, very much. Of course, at the top of tonight's show, my Hot Topics panelists, Ellington Ferguson and Michael Turnquest. Also at the middle of the show, the SBDC. And here in this segment, wrapping up, the Bahamas China Friendship Association. I want to thank all of you too for tuning in this evening. Certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.